From my interim project to the main project, I learnt a lot more about the conventions of a magazine and how to make the magazine look more professional. On the front cover of my main project, I used a lot more effects such as the masthead and cover lines, because on my student magazine the masthead looked quite plain and didn't stand out as much. I also made the front cover of my main project a lot fuller, and the position of the cover lines were in a better place. It's like on the student magazine, they were over the top of the main image, and they didn't position well. On my main project, I also used puffs and secondary images, which made the page look more appealing to the audience to persuade them to buy it. On both the front cover and the contents page, I tried to avoid as much white space as possible, which I didn't consider as much in the student magazine. On the actual contents page, I made it a lot more interesting to look at, such as the article titles, as I provided a brief description of each article, which I didn't do on the student magazine. I also used effects again, such as the boxes behind the text and making it more transparent so it was overlapping the image. I think this made the contents look more professional and more appealing to the eye, so people were more inclined to read it. In general, I think I used a lot more tools on the technologies that I used, which I didn't do before, such as on Photoshop I used the polygon tool and the magic tool, and like the bucket tool, which helped me get a cleaner finish to my front cover and contents page, and it also allowed me to make it look more professional. I also made the colour scheme match a lot more and made it more appropriate for the type of magazine, which I considered before, but not to the same extent. On my main project, I also linked the cover image to the main cover line, which I didn't do on the student magazine, so there wasn't much linkage between them. I've learnt a lot about the conventions of magazines, such as the rule of thirds, making the page easier to read from in the C format and like less white space. I also, when taking my images, considered the background and what they were wearing, the poses of the artist as well.